Hi, this is State Representative J.T. Wilcox. We have a lot going on during this session, and a few important things have already happened. First of all, the Hirst decision. Many of you have heard me and others talk about this. It has to do with the access to water for people that want to build on their land and drill a well so that they can do that. Now, there are some river basins that have a serious shortage of water. And so the court decided that because of that, all river basins should be further regulated. And not only that, that the counties should have to do all that regulation. And that effectively put a halt to a great deal of building all around the state of Washington because the counties weren't ready to do that. There was a bill that addressed that situation about 2 weeks ago, and the bill passed. I'm glad that a bill passed. However, there were some things that I didn't like about the bill. First of all, it greatly reduced the amount of water that homeowners and small businesses could use. And so many of them went from a daily limit of 5,000 to a limit of 3,000, but parts of my second district went down to just 800 gallons. And so I think that makes a pretty big impact on the value of people's land. There's another major issue having to do with Hirst and water, and that is what is happening with our rivers and streams. Now, I think that there is a little bit of capacity in our area to continue to take water out, but at the same time, we have a catastrophe brewing in South Puget Sound, and especially the Nisqually and the Deschutes River, where we had some of the greatest runs in the whole western United States of both salmon and steelhead, and many of these have disappeared. So we have to pay a lot of attention to this. This doesn't mean that we have to impair people's property rights, but there's no question that something is going on, most likely out in Puget Sound, especially the fish that have to come through the narrows like our fish do. And I feel pretty strongly that if I'm going to do a good job as your state representative and preserve the natural beauty and life that we have in the second district for our grandchildren, I'm going to have to engage in a much more major way in this conversation about how do we bring the fish back. And we have the greatest habitat left in western Washington, really, in our part of the state. We just have to make sure that the fish are getting there to use it. Now, this is a short session, so we're almost halfway through it. And as a lot of you know, I am mainly a budget guy. I have a few thoughts about how we should conduct ourselves during this year. It's only a supplemental budget, so it's not supposed to have a lot of changes. However, the economy is really good, and there is an immense amount of new revenue that's available here thanks to the generosity and the hard work of the taxpayers, and we have to be darn sure that we are respecting their efforts and not simply using this increased cash flow to the state to build what's called the bow wave, or in other words, create obligations that are going to be hard to pay off over future years. So I and some of my friends are going to be working hard, I think, on Plan A and Plan B. Plan A is let's figure out a way to mitigate some of these property tax increases that were necessary, we thought, in order to comply with the McCleary decision. I am not very optimistic that that's going to happen because we don't control the majority. I am optimistic that we may be able to implement parts of what I call Plan B, and that is to continue to work hard so that if there are new dollars spent in the state budget, it is used to reduce future obligations rather than simply, again, building this bow wave of new programs that will be very expensive in the future. So we're going to be working hard to pay down debt and also to pay off things that will become future obligations. That's my commitment to you, and I hope that we're able to accomplish this together with all of my friends in the second district. Thank you.